Behind me is the so-called famous East Side Gallery in Berlin. That's the part of the Berlin Wall that separated after the Second World War Berlin in East and West. And my dad was actually a border patrol guy on the east side of Berlin, Germany. Very interesting stories to tell. Very interesting what he can tell you about the border and East and West Germany. That's very interesting and always full of tourists here. I have a new bike. This lovely bike, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video, is a bike my dad gave me. It's super cool. It's a little diamant bicycle from the DDR, from the good old DDR. My dad was a border patrol in the DDR, in the German east side. It's, like I said, very cool stories to tell. Maybe I do an interview of him. And this little bike here is super cool because it's like ultra old. It has even the old Luftpumpe from it in chrome. That's from the, I don't know from which year this bike is, but surely from the 80s or even 70s. The saddle is super old, it's leather, it's heavy, it's and I think it's an aluminium frame or steel, I don't know. Yeah, that's chrome, that's the bell, that works pretty cool. The light with the little dynamo here, even the wheels and tires are from the 70s. It's from the DDR. I like this thing so much. It has a little Gepäckträger, I call it. The pedals are the same from the DDR. I like this bike so much. It has charm, it's heavy, it drives a little bit heavy. It's not from carbon or anything, but I think that's super cool. What format to choose? There's MP4, there's MOV, and there's All-Intra, 10-bit, long GOP. And this video I want to explain you when to use what format without showing you spreadsheets and my PC monitor and data rates, etc. That's from my own personal experience. My name is Paul, I'm a German videographer, I live in Berlin. I can luckily say that I can afford a living with my camera. I work with my Lumix S1H and with my Lumix S5, and I make videos for all kinds of clients, for events, corporates, brands. I worked for highly million dollar industries, and I worked also for smaller companies and for private persons, etc. So what does a real filmmaker or a real videographer use in format? So there's some formats available. You can, some say RAW is the best format you can have. That's like breathing for every camera. Why cannot every camera record in RAW to have all the metadata? Because they will get sued from RED right now. That's a whole other topic. RED basically destroyed in, I think, 2012 the RAW recording for every camera brand out there. And recording RAW is like breathing for every camera. Every camera is able to record in RAW. It's just a matter of fact that they have a patent for breathing. So thank you, RED, for destroying this for every camera. I mean, Nikon won in front of court, but I highly doubt that there will be in-camera RAW recording very soon. But anyway, there's MP4 that plays very well on a computer screen. If you record something in MP4, put it on your computer or in your television or in your phone, it plays very well because it's an MP4 container. Then there's also MOV. In short, is it a little bit better in editing. Sometimes your computer has trouble playing MOV files. They're a little bit heavier, but they render out faster and they are better for editing, for pulling stills and working with the footage in general. Then there's, of course, 8-bit and 10-bit. There's long GOP and All-Intra, and I work 90% of the time in All-Intra when I can. Why? All-Intra codec, without showing you spreadsheets here and everything, because I'm super lazy, and it's basically every frame a picture. It records basically every frame a whole picture. Long GOP is more compressed, is half the data rate, and it films one picture, imagines 3 or 4 frames, 3 frames, and then films the 4th frame again as a real frame. All-Intra, every frame a real picture. In long GOP there's a little bit camera magic and imagination between the frames. What's the difference? Some people say you cannot see the difference. I had the Lumix GH5 and there's all-intra recording, 400 Mbits per second, and long GOP recording, and you mostly never see a difference in long GOP or in all-intra. You see maybe a little bit in difference when it comes to filming a water surface. Then when you pixel peep, you can then see a difference because of the highly compression of the long GOP. Has this shot then some distortions. When you film shots with a lot of movement and a lot is going on, then use all-intra to have a visible difference. But the main difference is all-intra plays very, very smooth in almost every editing suite. My editing suite, of course, is Vegas. I like Vegas very much. I use Vegas 365 Pro. That's currently Vegas 21. Write in the comments if you want some editing tutorials. I mostly never do editing tutorials because I'm lazy. But all-intra plays ultra smooth in comparison to long GOP. Long GOP has half the data rates. Long GOP will turn your SD card very fast full. And why is it? Because the computer has to work with the stuff you give him. And when you give him compressed footage, the computer has to work to de-stretch the footage, to display it on your screen and to have a decent playback with it. In all-intra is it not so the case. The computer doesn't have to work as much to de-encode the video and to have a nice playback. My Vegas 21 almost never crashes when I use my all-intra codec. I can play 10-bit 4K all-intra codec with LUTs on it, with color grading, etc. in real-time playback. That's ultra smooth. When I use long GOP, Vegas crashes sometimes. Also other NLAs crash sometimes when you use long GOP or other quirky formats. That's also the reason why your DJI footage or your GoPro footage or your drone footage in general is super terrible to work with. It has maybe 100 Mbits per second, but the compression rate is so immense that it plays like hell in a PC. Yeah, and from a real cinema camera, my PC in Vegas 12 even from 10 years ago can work very good with red RAW footage. I worked with red RAW footage once. And it plays ultra smoothly, even in my boring and slow as computer from several years ago. So all-intra works, in my opinion, very good. And when you have a good workflow, when you want to work professionally, when your hour on the editing costs money, then you want to work without crashes and you want to work fast. I don't have to make proxies in my editing suite. I can just insert the SD card, put the files on my 4 terabyte SSD in my PC and work with the all-intra 4K 10-bit, throw a LUT on it, color grade it, throw some effects on it, and I can work with it. And that saves you real money. That's why I use all-intra. And when you want to work with these things, then you will experience the same things as me, because that's important. That's the difference between all-intra and long GOP. I hope you liked this little video. Even though I'm super busy right now, I try to make at least some little YouTube videos. There will be a time where I have more time for YouTube because of maybe December, January. It's always very quiet for the videographers. I can make a whole video on that itself, when it's the season, when it's high season, when you should invest in marketing and when you should maybe focus on other projects and learning. But this YouTube channel here is from this German little filmmaker that can afford a little living with the Lumix S5 even, and with the Lumix S1H. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.